Collectors of luxury watches frequently reach a point where they must choose between two brands. Omega watches versus Rolex watches is one of the most common conflicts. The primary reason for this is that these are two of the most successful companies in the watch business and have a lot of appeal to customers. In the following, we compare these brands across a variety of industries to assist you in making this choice. Welcome to the luxury world. Get inspired with us today and tomorrow. For over a century, watch enthusiasts have been debating this issue: Rolex or Omega. Omega and Rolex are two of the most well-known Swiss watch brands in the world, gaining a great deal of fame, respect, and recognition. However, what sets them apart from one another and from the rest of the watchmaking industry? This video is not intended to claim that one brand is better than another. Each brand has its own identity, specialties, and distinctive qualities. However, by contrasting Omega and Rolex, this video will help you understand the advantages of each brand as well as the reasons why people disagree with each other. Let's talk about heritage. The two brands have a broad assortment of cult classics and design icons in their lineups. However, how Rolex and Omega manage their respective catalogs is one of the most significant distinctions. When you look at the Rolex collection, you will quickly realize that almost every model is at least 50 years old and has only changed slightly over that time. The Yachtmaster 2 and Sky Dweller, two of Rolex's newest models, are largely based on well-known Rolex classics. They may seem a little repetitive, but the fact of the matter is that Rolex watches are absolute classics that are frequently copied but never duplicated. Omega approaches things slightly different. In this case, several submodels typically arise from each model series. For instance, the most well-known Omega model was available in 16 different variations as of June 2022, known as the Moonwatch by Speedmaster Professional. There are 6 Speedmaster collections, and the Moonwatch series is just one of them. Each collection has many different options, similar story to the Constellation, Seamaster, and DeVille collections. Numerous special and limited edition Omega models join Omega's standard models to commemorate a variety of occasions, including the Olympic Games, moon landing anniversaries, and the most recent James Bond film. Indeed, their histories are fascinating and impressive. Both were established over a century ago and have contributed significantly to the broader culture of horology. The first waterproof watch and sending a product to the bottom of the Marianas Trench are two examples of Rolex's accomplishments. Omega is also no slouch, as their most well-known accomplishment is outfitting the first moonwalkers. Though you might have a bias between them, we wouldn't say one of these luxury brands has an excellent history over the other. Next is materials. A standard type of stainless steel is used to make nearly every timepiece in the world. Despite the fact that some companies' products appear to be more robust than others, the metal from which they are made is almost always the same. Rolex uses a special kind of steel called 904L, which experts believe is more resistant to rust, corrosion, and scratches. This is one of the things that sets Rolex apart. Another area in which Rolex has an advantage is craftsmanship. Rolex takes almost as much care and time as almost any other manufacturer in the world. Nearly every aspect of their watches is hand-assembled and produced on-site. In point of fact, it takes their factory a full year to produce one product. Let's talk about accuracy. We are aware that both brands are extremely well known, but are Omega watches accurate? What do you think of Rolex? Do Rolex watches work well? Yes, both are fantastic brands that go beyond marketing. Which Omega watches are the best? Which Rolex watches are the best? To produce extremely precise timepieces that meet or exceed the highest standards, both brands have gone above and beyond what is considered to be good watchmaking. If you haven't already heard, a third-party testing lab called COSC, which stands for Contrôle Officiel Suisse de Chronomètre, gives some of the most accurate watches its seal of approval. Due to their exceptional accuracy, they are referred to as chronometers. Watches with next-level chronometer designations are produced by Omega and Rolex. But which is more accurate, Omega or Rolex? Omega comes out on top in terms of overall accuracy because they produce not only a lot of quartz watches, but also mechanical watches. We all know that quartz watches are more accurate than mechanical watches. How about movements? It can be difficult to gauge the quality of your watch's mechanical components. Power reserve, which indicates how long a watch should continue to operate after you stop wearing it, is one of our best metrics. In general, the reserve capabilities of Rolex and Omega watches are very similar. Omega outsources to extremely high-quality manufacturers, whereas Rolex makes its movements in-house. That's fine with us, but some collectors prefer in-house production. In terms of water resistance, the typical water resistance of high-end dive watches is 300 meters. Due to the fact that their most well-known models possess the precise capability, Rolex and Omega watch both adhere to this rule. But one thing they've both done is made resistance products that you probably won't use. This was accomplished by Rolex with their Deep Sea collection, which operates at an absurd depth of 3,900 meters. The same line is available from Omega, but they only go to 1,200 meters. These figures won't be of much use to 99.9% of us, but many people like to know that their watches can withstand the harshest conditions. In the subject of resale value, Rolex is the clear winner in this category. In this instance, Omega watches do not even come close to matching their relatively high value. In fact, many Rolex items appreciate immediately upon purchase. People are willing to pay a premium to avoid spending a year or more on a waitlist because of the high demand for them. Even though you probably won't want to sell watches from either of these brands, it's nice to know that you might get a good chunk of what you paid for them. The price difference between these two brands may be the most significant difference. Omega watches typically cost about half as much as their Rolex counterparts. The former is priced between $3,000 and $8,000, while the latter is priced between $6,000 and $20,000. Rolex versus Omega, the prestige factor. As we've seen so far, Rolex and Omega timepieces don't really stand out on the surface. Each brand has its advantages and disadvantages. Ultimately, your personal taste ought to be the primary factor in deciding whether to purchase a watch from the Genevan or Biel-based watchmaker. When buying a luxury watch, factors like prestige or financial performance frequently play a significant role. Rolex comes out on top in both of these categories. The Crown brand has established itself as a kind of benchmark for luxury watches through clever marketing and stringent product policies. Some experts in the watch industry do not associate Rolex with the term luxury watch. The truth is, Rolex never quite meets the enormous demand that is brought about by this reputation. Prices in the secondary market are sky high as a result of the high demand and low supply. Many people's perception of Rolex watches as exceptional is only strengthened by this. On the other hand, if you're interested in an Omega model, you can probably buy it at the store of your choice and take it home right away. On the open market, many Omega watches are sold for less than their official list prices. In general, this suggests that these watches are thought to be of lower value. How to choose between Rolex and Omega? So, is Omega less superior to Rolex? Yes, if you consider a watch primarily to be an investment. But Omega is at least on par with Rolex if you just want a good watch that runs well, is made well, and has a unique design. Omega prevails frequently. In the end, you have to pick the watch that you like best. Keep in mind that you are free to include models from both brands in the same collection. Although Rolex and Omega are fairly comparable in some areas, Omega's materials and craftsmanship arguably stand out. Having said that, we can see Omega watches as a deal that is slightly more logical for the majority of customers. The majority of people are looking for an exceptional watch that is strong and well built. That's exactly what Omega offers. In the end, All you need to do to pick one of these brands is to focus on your priorities. It's up to you to decide whether the additional features offered by Rolex are worth paying twice as much for your new watch. The fact that you will be adding a horological masterpiece to your collection is incredible, regardless of which option you select. Omega is without a doubt on par with Rolex if you ask someone who really understands watches. However, the vast majority of people, including the majority of buyers of luxury watches, neither understand nor care about watches. Rolex is regarded as the most prestigious brand by this group. They think that Rolex is the best watch company in the world. The majority of these individuals have never even heard of Vacheron Constantin, Patek Philippe, or a Lunga und Söhne. Now, is any of this relevant? Not at all. Just buy what you like, people. In general, prestige is a stupid idea, but it's especially stupid when it comes to watches. So, have you made your decision yet? Will you be trying out an Omega watch, or will you stick to the classic Rolex collection? We are looking forward to reading your thoughts, comments, and experiences in the comment section below. This is the luxury world, and we thank you for watching.